Trust and know God cares, and He cares for you. In a mansion made of stone, in a shanty all alone, God cares. He cares. God cares for you. Whether black or white, all the precious in His sight, God cares. Oh yes, He cares for you. To the rich or poor, to the one in need, to the beggar man, or even to the thief, God cares. Yes, He does. God cares. He cares for you. He cares. Oh, He cares. God cares. Yes, He does. Oh, I know He cares. If you're motherless, God cares. You may be fatherless, He cares. God really cares for you. Now, if in your heart there is no song, because something in your life, something has gone wrong, God cares. Oh, I'm a witness, He cares. My God,
Good evening and welcome to Living with Serenity on PositivePower21.org with Jerry Royce Live Worldwide. I am your host, Michelle-Edmonds, where we talk about natural, healthy living. So sit back, get serene as we get started. We'll be right back after this music break.
Till the battle's over, I must praise Him right now. Even though it seems like I'm losing, I'll still win. I'll still win, yeah. Till the battle, I must praise Him right now. 'Cause even though it seems like I'm losing, but I'll still win. I'll still win. I can't wait till the battle, 'cause I'm afraid Him right now. 'Cause even though but I'll still win, I'll still win. What can separate us from the love of God? Not tribulation nor nothing. What can separate us from the love of God? Not tribulation nor my trial.
evening, everyone. This is Michelle-Edmonds, and you're listening to Serenity Radio Network. We are just jamming here on a Thursday evening, having a good time, a little bit of jazz, a little bit of gospel. We were listening to, the first selection was God Cares by Everett Drake. The second selection was I Choose Life, also by the same person. And this most recent one that you heard, the last one, was More Than a Conqueror, and that was also by Gregory D. and Company. And once again, I am Michelle Edmonds. I'm a life and wellness coach, and this is Hour of Power. I hope y'all are ready and relaxed. You got your groove on. We're going to begin with prayer. Father God, let the words of my mouth and the voice of my heart be acceptable in your sight. Oh, Lord, you're our strength, and you are our Redeemer. In Jesus' name, amen. With that said, is my illustrious co-host, actually the host, and the commander. Is he in the house?
Of course, I'm feeling that aura, Michelle. I'm getting all fired up. I'm going to have to take off my jacket just because the heat just...
Yeah, you can tell we're on fire tonight, huh?
That's it. That's it.
Well, welcome, sir. Let me give you this.
That's kind of you.
Hour of Power, one of my favorite nights of the week, and Mark Denning, we're going to let you do your thing, and I know you got a very special topic that is near and dear to everyone's heart.
Everybody. But, I know Andrea's here, so you know what we got to do first.
She is present and accounted for.
I am, and I am ready to learn how to stay young.
You and me both, girl.
Andrea, let them know the housekeeping chore. Of course, we have to. I don't know a good word for it, but we got to put it out there. Andrea, what do we need to tell the people?
What's that?
Do you know what we got to tell the people every week?
Oh, yes, I know. We have to tell the people every week that what we are sharing with you here tonight is not to replace or to be in lieu of what your medical doctor has provided for you. We are here to teach you how the body can heal itself through nutrition. We do not offer healing with supplements.
Exactly. We do not cure diseases as well. And with that said, it's a bunch of bureaucracy, of course. And if you've been here more than once, as I have, and Andrea and Michelle, it's just a bunch of bureaucracy. One of the things I did get to do today, which was really cool, is after I got off work this morning, after working about 12 hours only, just a little overnight stint. Normally do 24, but worked 12. I went right to the gym, and on the way, Julie Schultz was awake. So we had a chance to talk this morning, and some good news coming down the pipe is that we'll be developing the wellnesswarriors.com website. I pray very soon, please hold that one up in your prayers in the future here, that we get that going so that we can access more people, get bigger and bigger, so we can share that news. Yes, I was visioned very long time ago. I bought the wellnesswarriors.com and try to integrate that all over. And I'd like to thank you all again for being here tonight. It just irked me. I get an email that it's top documentary films, and it's in various arenas of health and politics and all those things. Well, I picked on one, and it talked about where they predict that healthcare is going to go in the next 50 years. And there was a physicist talking, and then there was another scientist down at Georgia Institute of Technology. And they give a little vignette about this guy who lives with his daughter. I believe he's a physician. I didn't get a chance to turn the volume up really high. But they live in a very modern era. And healthcare is really advanced. There's somebody that sits on a stool that visualizes you. You have this vest on that is impregnated with wires and sensors that tells these people what's going on in your body. And I was like, wait a second. Wow. And it's for real. This vest is for real, you guys. It is it is being researched down in Georgia. And so the vignette was this guy he puts his clothes on to go to work, and one of those fancy schmancy vacuums that roll around on the floor, that you don't have to So we have the by my desk.
We're having some special effects in the background.
That's right, and she's expecting Trinity. I'm so sorry about that. That's Trent. Okay. She thought somebody was here. Anyway, so this guy is going down the stairs from the second floor to the first floor. He trips over this vacuum, and he falls out the window, and he hits the deck, right? It's about a story and a half fall, which is about 18 feet, 20 feet. And he's laying there. So they start talking about how healthcare is changing. And, there's no cars that roll on the road. They talk about all the cars that are going to be flying now and how easy it is. And they're grooming us with these video games on how to get ready for this. And they show these people who had never operated video games and how well they do to steer this. So all of a sudden, at the top of this building, the ceiling, the floor opens up, this thing flies out. It's an ambulance. I'm like, this is pretty cool. I could deal with this, right? That's me. So it flies over the house, drops down. They do advanced life-saving procedures where they put this collar around this guy's neck, and then they called it, I forgot what they called it, but they replace his blood with this freezing solution, and it gets his body temperature down to 50 degrees, which means there's no oxidation taking place, no inflammation, everything's put on hold. They load this guy up, zip him to the hospital. They're doing all these laser scans. The doctor's watching all this. Nobody has to touch him yet. Nobody has to touch him. What's found out is this guy had a heart transplant in the past. And if you've some people have watched Grey's Anatomy when Dr. Karev grew a trachea for a girl out of some stem cells, and they were able to replace that and help her live as best as possible. Well, they do this they find out this guy's heart has little cracks in it, and it could fail. And it was due for replacement in 2 years, but it had some cracks. So they go over to the lab, and it's this machine. It's like a 3D printer is creating his new heart. What happens? Bureaucracy happens. All of a sudden, this guy, I don't know what he did. He manipulated himself somehow, and you have a chip inside you that has all your information. Big Brother's watching, no problem. And all of a sudden, this regulating body says your insurance is denied for your heart transplant. Doctor comes in, she gives him the bad news. Wheels start spinning on her part because she kind of likes the guy, and he goes down to the minimal care ward from the platinum care ward, and people are pretty crammed in there, and they talk about, a guy comes down to ask him if he wants to clone himself. It's all pretty modern. So what does the doctor do? She wants to give him his transplant. She has another patient that passes away, and this is a very synopsis, very Cliff Note version. And so she took the chip out of that guy, and she injects it into the young man that needs the heart. And she doesn't even have to touch the patient at all during the procedure. And then, partway through, the one guy goes that handles all. There's 4 people that do the procedure. One guy goes, this isn't the right patient. And she looks over at him, and he just punches in a bunch of numbers, and it overrides. And well, they do the procedure. and they go on. So, and one of the things that happened during the procedure, it was all computer guided as far as the cutting, the sewing, the clamping, and everything was done with the device over the patient. But what the one thing was, and it struck me, two things. They said, "Oh, it's 2 minutes," and they're getting ready to they're trying to restart his heart, and they're bringing him up to temperature. Blood's flowing through a couple liters a minute, doing really good, but the heart's not beating yet. She has to go in the room and tell this guy, "Do not die," or something to that effect. And all of a sudden his heart starts beating. Now, about 3 weeks ago, I heard something like that. It was a minister that had a heart surgeon in his congregation, and he was doing a bypass procedure on this guy, and the minister had asked him if he could be in there, and he said, "Sure." And again, the same thing happened even now. After everything was done, the pump was, removed, and everything was done. It was just a matter. They usually shock the heart a couple of times with a very gentle current, and the heart restarts. I've been in on one or two of them as an observer, and the doctor had to go to the guy's ear and said, "Make your heart beat again." And they wrote a song about that. So that's on Caleb. So in 50 years, we may be wearing this vest. See, but in trauma care, when we get down to, we do a lot of alphabet stuff. We do A, B, C, D. We get to E, it's exposure, so you have to cut. But now it's going to be like Bones McCoy, where they're just going to scan you, know what's wrong with you because you have this vest or coat on. It was in this coat, and they'll be able to tell you everything that's wrong with you. I'm like, so what do we have today that does that? We have something called the Zyto scanner that works pretty well. I've had a couple of those where I put my hand on a device, and it tells me what I'm deficient in. And one time I had not taken my Ultimate Classic multivitamin thing for 3 or 4 days, and you know what? You guys, it picked up right on it. And I think in a couple of weeks we're going to have Naturopath on. She's going to be talking about energy medicine and how she evaluates her patients with an energy type matrix. And we're looking forward to having Dr. Judy Ray Wright on. So look forward for her either probably next week or in 2 weeks. Some other things that are coming up, we've been addressing the physical. We did emotional with Julie, and oh yeah, we're going to have her back. Don't worry about that. Julie Schultz will be coming back, and we'll be talking about tangles in the brain. I think would be a good topic to talk about. And put that out there, and then in another couple of weeks, we'll have Pastor Carter in from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and he's going to discuss with us recent challenges that Christians or your spiritual health. What challenges your spiritual health, and how we can overcome those and make that a lot, and ensure that I've been not treating, but I've been coaching Pastor Carter's mother and father over the last probably a year. I look forward to meeting them and heading up to Milwaukee soon with Mrs. Commander and meet Dad, and he's a preacher as well. But when they get on the phone, it's just like a lot of things you need to do. For one, when you try to change your health and you have a challenge, it's good to have a support group. With your emotional health, it's good to have family or friends there to help rally around you. When you have a spiritual concern, you have a prayer group, a house church. You have the assembly, you have the kingdom, you have varying steps of support that you have. And you need to know that you have those. And with Pastor Carter, the whole family gets on the phone. It's like a huge conference call. I feel like I'm on deck. much like I am now, because I want to give you the best information in a simple way that you can apply it to your life or someone that you know that's having a challenge, or I say issue. I never say problem. Math has problems. We have issues, concerns, but never a problem, because we getting the tools in the toolbox of life that we need, and it's up to the Lord to put it in a timely fashion if that's your higher power. So one of the things that interested me over the last couple of months was the issue of senescence. And I first got exposed to that when my mother told me, hey, Mark, I had my chest x-ray done, and she's reading me the x-ray report, and it says normal senescent chest. And I think my mom was about 60 years old at the time. She had COPD from smoking, so I got a lot of secondhand smoke. And just a sidebar, remember, if you do smoke, your cats will get cancer twice as easily as you will. So we have to stamp out smoking in this generation that's coming up. It's a pandemic, and there's really no benefits from it, but all the cigarette companies will tell you that they are. But like we have to give a statement in the beginning, they have to put a statement on their packages that it's not the best thing to do. And so anyway, so senescence, I was like, what the heck is senescence? I'd never heard that word in all my years in, I could say, medicine, nursing, healthcare. I looked it up. It just says aging. So the big deal in healthcare right now is how to slow down aging. We know we can't stop it. We know we can't reverse it, but we can either slow it down or what I call put it at a normal pace. And that's very, very, very important, because it just eats us up. So in a way. But so the discussion today is we're going to be talking about sweeping away senescent cells. And but if someone told you that you were taking a nutrient or a drug that could kill some of your cells, you might think it's a bad idea, right? Well, in this case, not, because very few people understand that these senescent cells, or our cells in our body, they degenerate into this poorly functioning senescent cell. So senescence is aging, that's normal. But senescent cells are not normal cells. They create a challenge in our human body, and we need to promote ridding them, because they can get into any organ or any tissue. So this buildup of these senescent cells really just causes it has a great impact on chronic inflammatory disorders, which we could name almost 900 of them, because if we get to the time when I know Joanne Conaway is going to come, she already said she was, and she's a naturopath. She's also a nurse, and she's a great colleague of mine. She's the gut commander, hands down, and she'll talk about leaky gut for us, and that's a cause of inflammation, and that causes problems. So that's why, if you're a member of the Longevity Nation, that getting off the 12 bad foods is always a great idea. And we can post that. Michelle can post it. I can post that. Andrea can take care of that. We have the Wellness Warriors with the Z on Facebook. We have the Wellness Warriors Good Food, Bad Food page, where you can learn all about those kind of bad foods. I urge you to go there. I urge you to join that page. There's a couple chefs there that are watching it, and they give some hearty recipes. And just because somebody says gluten-free, that's a stigma. It's really not. And some people say, oh, that's a fad. Yeah, but it's just people's lack of knowledge that they don't know the ramifications, that if they are sensitive to it, and the simplest way to do it is stop eating it. So no wheat, rye, barley, or oats, or spelt. So if you think of the word browse minus the E, you're in good shape. I encourage you to stop that for 7 to 14 days, and then if you so desire and you don't think it affected you or impacted you, why eat some? Within 2 days, you may have a headache, or your belly may give you some gurgling in a great way. You may get the pasta coma. I was famous for the pasta coma. My wife would tell me, you would eat a box of spaghetti, and I'd only eat butter and parsley and pepper, and sure as heck I'd take a nap. So little did I know what I was doing to myself, and once I found out, it was just it's such a life changer. And what they've really come down to say, the doctors that deal with nutrition, naturopaths, they deal with chronic illness and nutrition in a great way, along with many other complementary medicine methods to help the body to heal itself. Like Andrea says, the body wants to heal itself. Let's just give it what it needs. Amen? So if you get rid of all those things, the 12 bad foods, and you supplement appropriately, when you get off those foods, you seal the tank. You seal the nutrient tank when you get off of there. When you eat gluten, you put holes in the tank, so the nutrients keep running out of there, right? So you may have some success, but it's going to take longer. So the best thing to do is to just stop eating it. You'll enjoy your life a lot more. It's not a curse. It's not a problem. There are so many. You can eat your vegetables, and for the paleo people, that's an easy thing. They can eat their meats. They can eat their vegetables. They can eat their fruits. They can have some nuts and those type of things. And there's so many options. So many people think there's so many things that they can't eat. It's all about the grains. And I could get into the story about Joseph, but we're gonna move along. But in a nutshell, Joseph got thrown in the pit, sold off by his brothers to Pharaoh. Pharaoh thought enough of him as an up-and-up guy. He helped people survive on grain for 7 years. Am I right? Did I do that right? Basically, the people were selling off everything they had, their animals, farms, whatever. But they were hoarding grains says Joseph saw this coming through the wisdom of God, and he just started stockpiling this. But so people survived but didn't thrive because their spirituality, their emotional health was out of context, because they didn't know where their next meal was coming from. They didn't know if they were going to have land to live on or a home. Things were taking a big stripe, much as they are now. So again, we emphasize that balance. And if you're not working on your gratitude journal, you might be thinking about it, and that's good. So within the next few days, I kind of urge you to go ahead and try that. And we can talk more about that when Julie comes back on with some successes that some people have had. But let's get back into it. Not only does the senescent cells contribute to chronic inflammatory disorders, but it also decays your organs. So our body's replacing cells every single day. And within 7 years, the cells outside of the spinal cord and the brain are replaced every 7 years. That's why everything takes time, and we've been beating ourselves down for how many years? A lot of us, for what we didn't know. So, So pharmaceutical companies, of course, are going to jump on the bandwagon. They've developed technologies to remove these senescent cells or neutralize them. And so there's a lot of lucrative technology going on right there. But they did find out that one chemotherapy drug, and I'm going to leave the name out of it, was beneficial in this. But what they did find was interesting was that a flavonoid, which is a new type of nutrient called quercetin, also paralleled this chemo drug in removing the senescent cells from the body. So hats off to the people and the guys and the gals that are awesomely thinking about how can we do it naturally, how can we do it without chemicals, how can do it, like I said, as natural as possible. So hats off there. So again, we are able to remove the senescent cells without destroying healthy cells. And, you know, in God's wisdom, he planted flavonoids, right, for us. It's a Latin word, came from flavus, meaning yellow. And what's been found out through studies that don't get published, you know, in JAMA and all those things, the only thing that they're barking at and beating the drum on right now is cranberry juice for urinary tract infections. And they've been going back and forth with that since the late 80s in the New England Journal of Medicine. First they say, oh, yes, drink that with the urinary tract infection. And they came back and said, no, it really doesn't. And then they came back and said, yes, again. It's just like, but I digress. So the flavonoids are really good for anti-inflammatory properties, which is awesome. We're always faced with all those insults at us, whether it's electronic or processed foods, or, again, the environmental toxins, whether it be electromagnetic radiation from, you know, electric wires and all those things, and electric appliances in our homes, pollution, all those things are challenges. It's antithrombogenic, and March is big in the allopathic world into DVT Awareness Month, of which I'm a member. But I don't preclude to their credence. I've had some deep vein thrombosis. I had to find out what caused it other than taking, and for a short time to take a medicine that would help me prevent them from happening again. And I'm happy to say we're off everything again. And almost like a 7-year itch I had happened in 2007, and then it just happened in the fall of this year again. And I know some of you have heard me talk about it. But we're off all our unnatural blood thinners that need an antidote, and on just God's given nutrients in the soil as best we can get them. Thank you very much. Yeah, that's, you know, Michelle and Andrea, that's a big confidence thing for people. Like when I was helping Andrea and her son had seizures, Andrea was having thyroid issues. You know, you really have to listen to what's going on, to what's happening, to determine the cause of what's happening. But there's a lot of things we can minimize, and Michelle knows about 90 for life, and Andrea knows about 90 for life. Just getting off the 12 bad foods, getting on the 90 nutrients, the 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, and 3 essential fatty acids. I know that makes 91, but 90 sounds so much better. And just getting on that, if that's what you can do for 3 months, and then see what happens. See, and we've talked about Herring's Law of Cure, and you can go back and get that in the archives and discuss that amongst yourselves, or you can always get a hold of Michelle, get a hold of Andrea or myself on the Warriors page, and we'd be more than happy to repost so you can get an idea what that's all about. Again, it's anti-diabetic. It's amazing. For the type 2s, of course, which kind of bleeds over with inflammation and that. They talk about it having anti-cancer properties. They talk about it being neuroprotective. So as we get older, what happens? You know, were we destined for canes? Were we destined for walkers? Were we destined for the hover-around chairs? I mean, how many of you people watched WALL-E, the movie by, was it Pixar? Andrea, I know you've seen that one. Have you seen that movie, WALL-E?
You know I've seen it several times because I have kids.
Yes, right. She has a whole first-line hockey squad. at her house. And so she's a great coach to them and a great mom and that. So the gist of that movie was people destroying the earth, then leaving the earth on these vessels, and eventually getting back. And you really need to see that movie. It really can impact you. What comes to fruition in the end and what they got back to. But I'm not going to let it out of the bag, Andrea. I don't want you to either, Michelle, if you've seen it. I don't want you to let that one out of the bag. Go watch it. It's animated, but it's plausible fiction. It is plausible fiction. If we keep gumming up the works, things aren't going to be good. So these people that get dementia, it's $1 million workup because they want to know if you're anemic. They want to know if your brain structure is having issues. So you're getting CAT scans, you're getting blood tests. They're testing your metabolics, your thyroid, and they're testing all your blood work to make sure your cholesterol levels, healthy fats, blood sugars, all those things. And that's a big workup for people that have dementia. And then they put you on a couple different drugs to block things. And that's not cool at all. Because we don't want to block things in our body. We want to enhance movement of nutrients throughout our bodies, through our nerves, through our blood vessels, through our lymphatics. We want to do all that. We want to have that as maximum as possible. And believe it or not, quercetin is very, very good for that as well. We can go deeper, but I think what we're getting good progress right here on what we're talking about, and we can always dive deeper. If you guys want to dive deeper, just let me know. So again, a lot of very positive effects for flavonoids. Most of them are yellow, but there's also further broke down, and we can talk about that again later, and it gets into a lot of different foods. But we know heart disease is a great killer. We just spent all of February talking about the heart. But again, they did a meta-analysis, 14 studies, and we know that studies can be skewed every which way they can be, but that's the way the allopaths live, and they love studies that way, and they love to do comparative things. I like to hear victory posts. What did you do to change your issue to turn it into a victory? And that really brings joy to my heart, and my emotions and my spirit gets really just boosted when I hear those. And I tell people on the Warriors page, I always post those, and post them as victory posts. I don't want them as testimonials. It's a victory, all right? Victory. All right, but again, the flavonoids, very important to help the vessels stay open. Again, very important to do that because we know when we get good blood flow, we get good oxygen. We get good oxygen to the heart works effectively. Boom. And it also helps stop plaques from forming in your arteries, which doesn't mean say, hey, I got high cholesterol. Oh, boy, I'm going to have a heart attack. No, it's the degree that you're on fire, and we're going to have that talk. Where's the fire pretty soon? The physical fire, anyway, and the spiritual, emotional fire. We're always on the go with that, with our prayer. With Julie Schultz, our life coach, and Pastor Carter will bring him on, and he'll help us with that too. So. Again, even though scientists came up with these chemo drugs, God had already taken care of it. He put quercetin on the earth, and boom. He gives us a low-cost alternative that doesn't have to go through clinical trials that we can just use. And Dr. Wallach, my naturopath, in his infinite wisdom, like I said, the guy forgets more than I know. He paired quercetin with another substance called resveratrol, right? And that's very important for energy, metabolism, functioning of those little tiny powerhouses in your cell called mitochondria. So that, in balance with the quercetin, they work really, really well hand in hand. And what did Doc Wallach put together for us? But he put Cell Shield together in a combination of nutrients called the Healthy Aging Pack. What an appropriate name. Those work really well. Resveratrol, again, is good against UV radiation, too much sunshine, extreme environments, something to think about. So anyway, I think we should probably take a break, go for a song. When we come back, we'll entertain some questions, or we'll talk about what's happening on the Wellness Warriors and Michelle's page. We'll close it out there. All right, we'll come back in a couple minutes. Enjoy the music.
I thought I never will, but you saved me.
majesty.
Well, hey, everybody, we're back. So let's tie it all up together. Let's figure it out. We figured out that we need to slow our aging. We need to do it evenly paced. And one of the great substances that's out there that God put on the earth is quercetin. And remember, always take your supplements about 2 hours away. If you have to take medication for now, it's fine. But things like that take 2 hours away, at least 2 hours away, to ensure that there won't be an interaction. If you have a question about that, please email me at wellnesswarriors@gmail.com, and I will directly address that for you in a timely fashion, or get a hold of Michelle, and she'll get a hold of me, and we'll dial it all in for you. That's the easiest way to put that. Remember, the big thing that's killing everybody today in a general statement is obesity, and quercetin directly opposes major components of metabolic syndrome. So this is a combination of obesity, hypertension, glucose intolerance, insulin resistance, and the inability of the body to utilize fats in the best way possible. So this is something that increases that cardiovascular risk, and that's important. So how much should we take? Anybody want to take a wild stab at it? What would be a good amount to take? If you feel you're pretty dialed in, then I would suggest finding something that had at least 150 milligrams in that every day. Cell Shield has adequate amounts. If you've come along in your health challenge, coming along, great product, great progress. You get a little sticky, kind of slow down your progress a little bit. This may be one of the things that's happening to you. This is why we're here, to help you with that information. You may need to take up to 500 milligrams of quercetin in combination with the Cell Shield. I would suggest at that time to take 4 of the capsules a day. It also contains turmeric, and we can get into that wonderful, wonderful spice later when we have more time, and we will. If you do that, kind of clean out the dead cells, the senescent cells, and let the good ones do their job, because, you know, the aging cells can cause cancer. Keep on a constant vigil with that. Take care of preventing ourselves from getting that, because we take bombardments all the time. So, Michelle, what's been the big hit on your page? What's going on?
Oh, what's really going on right now, our team has just started its 21-day juice cleanse. And what we're doing, Mark, we are using a different type of juice every 7 days. We started with green juice, and now on red juice, which is beet. And we're not just juicing, but we're also learning the proper equipment to use. Can your body really handle all that pulp that the ninjas and the NutriBullets propose is so wonderful for you? And by the way, hint, hint, everyone, it's not. It's easier for cleanup, but your system really doesn't want all that pulp.
Right.
And so we're just really digging in. We have people, listening audience, who don't know, really never juiced before. They would use blenders. They really don't know. And sometimes we take things for granted, you know, Mark, and we are just having a great time. Some people who juice all the time, and there are others who are going literally, what is fennel? What is bok choy? Is that the same as Chinese cabbage? Literally asking that. And that's great, everyone. I want you to learn. If you haven't been exposed to those vegetables, or you looked at them and just never picked them up before, I want you to ask questions and start getting familiar with all the wonderful things that are out there for you to eat. And Mark referenced that in the beginning, all the don'ts. You know, everyone gets all uptight with all the don'ts. There is wonderful things left to eat.
A million things left to eat after the 12 don'ts.
Absolutely.
So don't close your mind. Don't have tunnel vision.
That's right.
Hey, Michelle, what's in that green juice? I know I did see that.
Oh, yeah.
You're talking about juice, so what's in your green juice?
I like that. The green juice,
of course.
What I like, it is green juice, not necessarily, but the way we make it is excellent for flushing toxins out of the kidneys. And what we do is we put, obviously, parsley. If you do a Google search, everyone, you're going to see parsley is actually very, very high in potassium and excellent for detoxing the kidneys.
Heavy metals.
Yeah, heavy metals, yes. And very gently and inexpensively. Yes. How much is a bunch of parsley? Half of y'all throw it away when you go to dinner. You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I'm eating it. I don't know about you, but I'm eating it.
Absolutely. And so we put in bok choy, parsley. Bok choy, remember, everyone, is also Chinese cabbage. We put in fresh fennel. It looks like celery, everyone, but it has a round bulb, and is actually the basis for licorice. That's where licorice comes from. It's a wonderful, Swedish-tasting green vegetable. And so we put some ginger. I want fresh. So I do not use green apple, although Granny Smith green apple, by the way, everyone, is the only fruit, please, the only fruit that you technically can mix with vegetables. The sugars in the fruit do not mix well with the proteins and the enzymes in the vegetables. It's done all the time. I know. But it's done because most of us don't like vegetables. And that's the truth.
Right.
That's the truth.
What about lemon?
Lemon, oh, yes. Lemon or lime. Those are the only fruit that really should be mixed.
I'm so glad you said that because I love lime. And
yes, lemon and lime.
That's where Andrea and I balance. I'm a lemon guy. She's a lime girl. Maybe she's mostly English. I don't know. We'll see.
And then you put in some spinach, and I do stay away from all the fresh broccoli because we had a wonderful victory broadcast with Andrea. That's correct. On the thyroid gland, and for some reason, everyone who's trying to lose weight always gravitates to broccoli. Y'all just leave that broccoli alone, please. Rotate it. I agree with you guys completely. Rotate your broccoli.
That's right.
And so stick in some spinach for me, and you can also try a little bit of collard greens. See if you like that.
Oh.
Yes, you can find it already shredded. See if you like that. It blends very, very nicely. But that's our combination. We have spinach and or a little bit of collard green. Your fennel, we want some fresh ginger in there. One nice knuckle is great. It's great.
Go easy at first if you've never had ginger.
Because ginger's hot at first.
It
has a hot taste. So if you're not accustomed to it, go easy. But I actually throw in a whole knuckle.
Look at you.
Oh, yeah, but I do this all the time. I teach it all the time. And you have people who are used to buying, burgers going, this is really good. We want to have 2 glasses a day. Make a back 10 ounces at a time, please. 20 ounces at a time, because I really want you to drink 8 to 10 ounces each serving with your protein. That's what we're all doing as a team. So we'll do that maybe for the 3 o'clock meal and our 9 o'clock meal. We're having a glass of green juice or our red juice with a whole protein. I would prefer fish. It seems counterproductive right now to have pork with a glass of veggie juice. Don't you think that's counterintuitive? Yeah, I don't know. Yes, it's paleo, but I'd like you to dial back on that right now. And that's what we're doing, Mark. That's our recipe. And we will post it on the Wellness Warriors page, the green juice recipe.
Please. Post that green juice.
Sure.
I use, if you want to send the commander something, people always send me a juicer. So we have one for you got one for the wheatgrass too, and we did that in the beginning. And then
Right.
So my stepson couldn't figure what to give us for Christmas, so juicer number 3 is in the house.
A real juicer, not a power blender, and that's your Ninja, NutriBullet, or your Vitamix. Okay, everyone?
Or your Blend Tech.
Yes, we want a real juicer, and that's going to be Breville, Champion, Omega, even Jack LaLanne.
Not a bad juicer, that guy.
Correct. It's not a bad juicer at all, and it's nicely priced, or the Juice Man Jr., okay?
And you can take the pulp and put it in soup.
And that's correct.
Make soup.
Absolutely. And also consider planting it in your garden. It's wonderful fertilizer. You don't throw it away, but your body really doesn't want to digest all of that pulp. Where do we get this from? Do a fact check, everyone. We get this from Gerson Cancer Institute out west. They are Complementary Medicine Cancer Treatment Center.
Absolutely.
They're a wonderful, wonderful place. I would advise all of you to enroll in their free newsletter and stay abreast of what's happening, because there's so much going on with cancer that's holistic, and they are the forerunners of that. But they do not allow power blenders because your body cannot digest. Okay?
And what is that place called?
Gerson. That's GER.
Gerson Institute.
SON. Gerson Cancer Institute.
In Southern California. It's in Southern California is the main one. It's right on top of Mexico. I've looked at Dr. Max Gerson. and Charlotte Gerson is his daughter.
Yes.
He's a physician in the 20s who healed Albert Einstein's wife of diabetes, and she had the tuberculosis on her skin, and he had type 2 diabetes, and he was able to take care of that. That man suffered greatly. I can do a highlight on Max for sure. He's
he was
a hero. He's before his time, absolutely. Him and the dentist, Weston Price, both before their times.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And so I always keep informed about what they do, why they do it, and they'll have cancer patients drinking fresh squeezed vegetable juices all throughout the day.
Wow,
but
these people
very, very patient the equipment.
And they don't get to take their medicine while they're there, and they heal very nicely. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. They use a special juicer. Boy, if I could, it's on the tip of my tongue.
That's right.
It begins with a W. It costs about $2,300.
Yes,
for
we
one.
Don't have to go that far. We know.
No, we can do it.
You don't have to go that far, but they do use a special juicer. That's
yes,
my understanding.
Indeed.
And that's what we're doing, Mark. We're having a good time. We're
getting
people involved with healthy eating in a fun way.
Yes. I'm having, what did I eat today? I ate Thai tuna, and I had some garbanzo spinach salad with other vegetables in there. And then, and I think that's about it today. I didn't even do my meal replacement shake. I've been doing one meal replacement. I've suffered over the time with those medicines. They caused me to gain weight, and I have to challenge myself. And by all means, like Michelle said, when you detox gently and smoothly. Absolutely. If you have a huge challenge and you go see Charlotte and her people down there, it's going to be a bit of a change for you. Like when Mrs. Commander went to raw food school, that's all they did was ate raw, which was cool. So, after the first 3 days, it's in the bag. You're good. So if you have the time to juice, if you can only juice 1 day a week, juice 1 day a week. If you can fast, don't eat after dinner. Drink water or whatever. Go to bed, get up in the morning. Hello, that's a 12-hour fast. You can do that once a week. That's awesome as well. But we'll forego what's happening on the Warriors page because we're at the top of the hour. And I should mention one essential oil that helps when you're really not in the know what's happening with you. Leanne Bacon-King, my associate, master aromatherapist, master herbalist, and a great friend, her and her husband, Kent, the Organ Master. Get everything dialed in. Organ Master, you need to dilute it for children under 5. We don't recommend it for pregnant women. If you have high blood pressure, we'll use it with caution. And again, the disclaimer is not, it's the oldest form of medicine that's been out there. Just an amazing complement. Remember, again, essential oils are a complement. So we start with the nutrition. We add nutrients because we know our soils are deficient. Then we either employ Ayurveda, acupuncture, naturopathy, homeopathy, meditation, energy medicine, things like that. We employ all those to do that, and there's so many more. We just have a lifetime to do this, and I'm excited to keep going forward with this, and I'm grateful for Michelle for what she has given me, and Andrea for being just a great help, kind of being my right hand on the Warriors page to help take care of things. But I think we should pray out and call it a day. I look forward to hopefully you're doing your lymphatic breathing, you're doing your gratitude journal. I hope for great victory posts for all of you. Father, reach your loving, healing arms around all of us and keep us focused on you, keep us on the narrow path so that we can win our ultimate victory with you. But while we're here, we'd like to help honor the temple that you gave us with what you put on earth. Father, we love you, and it's in your Son's name we pray. Amen.